prior to after, obviously. But now that I understand how difficult he is to deal with, there's no one else like him. You can't prepare for him, even
Even at his age?
even at an elder version of him.
And shit, it was pretty cool to see. And honestly, even with the majority draw, it's a win for Manny because damn, if he can do that off a 3-year layoff at 46, that's pretty telling for one, where the sport of boxing is when your world champ can't beat 46-year-old politician Manny Pacquiao.
Yes, Manny, you can come out of retirement because this guy is so bad. Like, that fired him up a little bit, and then he goes in the ring and he does nothing. He goes in the ring and, like, I thought it was an embarrassing performance from a 30-year-old champion.
Fighters are genuinely on edge about Manny Pacquiao's comeback. 46, he still moves like he's in his prime. Sean Porter, after witnessing Pacquiao's training and his showing against Barrios, confidently stated that Pacquiao is still him. Despite his age, Manny's lightning speed, footwork, and relentless intensity remain intact. Many fear that the legendary version of Pacquiao hasn't faded, and that he's still dangerous enough to dominate today's top-tier fighters.
What do you think about the overall matchup?
Everything, man. I watched him train like last week or the week before, and amazing to see him still move and bounce and do all the same things that he was doing in camp years ago when I was with him. So he's still locked in. He's still him, Crazy, but he is. You know what they say, man. The last thing to go is that power.
Chris Algieri, who once shared the ring with Manny Pacquiao at the height of both their careers, offers a rare and respected perspective. To Algieri, Pacquiao is unlike any fighter the sport has ever seen, someone who seems untouched by time. While most boxers fade with age, Manny remains a puzzle that even younger, fresher opponents can't seem to solve. Algieri describes him as one of the most difficult fighters to prepare for, unpredictable, explosive, fast, and relentless. He stresses that with Pacquiao, age is meaningless, because Manny possesses a unique physical and mental edge that no training camp can replicate. For Algieri, Pacquiao's return isn't just possible, it's a serious threat to anyone who dares to face him.
Prior to after, obviously. But now that I understand how difficult he is to deal with, there's no one else like him. You can't prepare for him, even at
his age?
Even at an elder version of him.
In his bout with Mario Barrios, Manny Pacquiao stunned audiences by showing just how much of his signature style still remains. 46, many expected to see a faded legend chasing flashes of old glory. Instead, fans witnessed blistering footwork, rapid-fire combinations, and those sharp, deceptive angles that once made him one of the most feared champions in the sport. What stood out most was how competitive the rounds were. Even in the frames he didn't win on the scorecards, Pacquiao pushed the pace, proving his timing, ring IQ, and stamina were still intact. While Barrios was expected to control the fight with his youth, he often found himself reacting rather than dictating. Pacquiao made it clear he wasn't just showing up. He was still competing at an elite level.
I think Manny's always been good at that. And my son really pointed it out perfectly. He was still good at it. He was still good at it. I think he was stealing some rounds at the end. Whether he deserved them or he didn't deserve them, whatever. They were close rounds. He might have stole them on the judges' cards. What we shouldn't forget is he's a special guy, and he put a special performance. I never saw calves on the legs of somebody that big. I mean, it's incredible. I thought early on he stumbled a little bit. I thought his legs were stumbling a little bit, like you might see in a 46-year-old, a little bit. But at the end, they got the act together. He used them pretty good. He used them pretty damn good. What I think he also did was maybe a little bit of, I think the word illusion is too powerful, but I'd say a little misleading, where he threw those real fast punches like my son said. They weren't quality punches like they used to be, where there was real impact and real power at the end of them. They were more like just quick punches. And they weren't all being impactful. They weren't all landing clean. Some did, but they weren't all landing clean. And they definitely weren't landing with real power. They really weren't.
Social media star and fighter Salt Poppy weighed in with a bold prediction on a possible Floyd Mayweather-Manny Pacquiao rematch. He argued that Pacquiao's current form proves he's still active, conditioned, and mentally locked in, unlike Mayweather, who has been away from true competition for years. According to Salt Poppy, if the two legends were to clash again, the result would be far different from their 2015 showdown. This time, Pacquiao's relentless rhythm, high activity, and burning hunger could overwhelm Mayweather's slowing reflexes. While Floyd has stayed busy with exhibitions, Salt Poppy insists that Pacquiao's return to genuine form makes him the far more dangerous fighter today.
Have you spoken to Manny recently? I know you're friends with him.
No. I haven't spoken to him, no.
What would you want to see him do next?
Fight Floyd Mayweather or Gervonta Tank.
You think he beats Tank, near prime Tank Davis?
We'll see. Styles make fights, so we just don't know.
What about Mayweather versus Pacquiao too?
Yeah, that'll be a good fight. Manny is still active. So.
Okay.
Pacquiao's performance against Barrios was a reminder of why he's considered a generational talent. Every time Barrios tried to engage, Manny fired back with 2 or 3 lightning-fast punches. His output, energy, and relentless footwork stood in sharp contrast to Barrios' cautious, reactive approach. What impressed fans and critics most was how youthful Pacquiao's movements appeared, constantly cutting angles, staying on his toes, and creating openings. Many questioned the official decision, arguing that Manny's aggression and volume far outweighed Barrios' scattered counters. This wasn't just a veteran looking sharp for his age. It was proof that Pacquiao still belongs among the elite.
That's not what happened. Barrios was so tentative in this fight. He was essentially standing there for some of the exchanges. Manny Pacquiao came out and did what Manny Pacquiao does. By the way, credit to Manny. At 46, he still had some feet. He was moving, dancing on Mario Barrios. He was throwing combination punches going forward on Mario Barrios. And when he wasn't doing that, he was countering Mario Barrios, who looked like a stick in the mud. He looked like he couldn't even get out of first gear because Manny was hitting with combinations. Were they hurting super bad? Maybe not. Some of them definitely were. Had a mouse under the eye of Mario Barrios, but others were just flurries, and they were keeping Barrios at bay. And when Barrios was throwing 1, Pacquiao was throwing 3. When Barrios would throw out his jab, Manny would counter with his lead right hand, stepping on the inside plane, doing all the old Manny shit. It was pretty cool to see. And honestly, even with the majority draw, it's a win for Manny because, damn, if he can do that off a 3-year layoff at 46, that's pretty telling, for one, where the sport of boxing is when your world champ can't beat 46-year-old politician Manny Pacquiao, but 2, just how great he was. 8-division world champion, started his career at 106, I think, comes up to 147. What are we talking about?
Skeptics have questioned Manny Pacquiao's true motivation for stepping back into the ring, hinting that financial incentives may be the driving force. With his legendary status cemented as the only 8-division world champion and a guaranteed place in the Hall of Fame, Manny has nothing left to prove. He could comfortably remain retired, celebrated as a global icon. Yet his decision to return has raised eyebrows. Critics argue that at his age, the risks far outweigh the rewards, with boxing's physical toll becoming increasingly unforgiving over time. To them, no amount of pride, legacy chasing, or competitive fire justifies another comeback, unless there's a massive payday attached.
Manny Pacquiao, crazy for coming back and fighting, is because they don't understand what's going on in Manny Pacquiao's life. When a fighter is 46 years old, he doesn't just come back to fight a top fighter because he just wants to fight a top fighter. When he's going through that, that's what's brought him to that place in the first place. And that is having what we call bandwidth extension. He's totally scattered his brain and lost so much money over the course of time. And the same thing that happens when you get a paycheck and you start spending, and because you get shiny object syndrome, you want to get the new watch, you want to get the new gear, you want to eat at the restaurant, you want to go spend money. That's shiny object syndrome. And you can't get it under control the same way that Manny Pacquiao did. He couldn't get things under control. So therein lies the situation where all of that money that he's made, hundreds of millions of dollars, just burnt. And now you got to fight. But if you really stop focusing on the symptom and start concentrating on the root of this thing, and the root of this thing is bandwidth, shiny object syndrome, trying to be so relevant in so many different scenarios. You want to train, you want to run this other business, you want to do this, you got this great idea. And it all boils down to the term that I use all the time, and that's compensatory control, laser focus. Get one idea, follow through with that idea. You got to have a plan in order to do it. And that's how you get to from here to here. That's when you're 46, you don't have to fight anymore. And that is my message today. Just understand why you're scattered. Understand why you can't get anything going all the way through. You can never finish that thought process and execute the plan, and therefore you continue to find yourself in a situation where you're desperate. You're trying to find a way to get back to where you were, which is even. But if you stay locked in and concentrate on the compensatory control factor of your life, which is doing everything that you think of every single day the exact same way, and I take 1 minute and go to that playlist.
Pacquiao, however, has consistently dismissed the idea that money fuels his comeback. Over the years, he has built a reputation not only as a legendary fighter but also as a generous humanitarian, funding hospitals, supporting disaster relief, and giving back to communities in need. Manny has often reminded the media that he fights for his people, not his pockets. His return, he insists, is driven by passion, legacy, and the desire to inspire. Pacquiao wants to show the world that age is just a number when the heart remains strong. For him, it's about proving to himself and to others that true greatness doesn't expire. With the Barrios fight behind him, the focus has now shifted to one burning question: who will Pacquiao face next?
When I became a world champion, then I realized that this is the time that I can help my family. Before that, we don't have food to eat in one day. We just drink a lot of water to survive. And I remember one time, my young brother is 5 years old back then, and he was crying like in the afternoon, 1:30 in the afternoon. He's crying because he's hungry. He's asking for food. We don't eat breakfast. We don't eat lunch. He don't understand what is. When you're telling him no money, we have no money to buy food, and he's crying like, "Mom, I'm hungry." Like he's crying. And then I look to my mom and look at his eyes, and the tear flow in his eyes, and then I feel so sad and like, and of course I'm crying also because hungry. We drink water just to survive. That's our past. So that's why I always told them that, Manny Pacquiao is Manny Pacquiao, but I don't have the right to become arrogant, to become boastful. I want to stay humble because we've been there. We came from nothing.